I'm inviting Gayatri for taking her topic on the significance of library in science teaching. As we all know, library is a very significant tool in teaching of science. And to discuss more detail about it and how to organize a library inside the science department or science as a science teacher is what Gayatri Nair is going to discuss here. We welcome you, Gayatri.
Thank you, ma'am. Okay, good morning, all. Today I am going to discuss you about the topic significance of science library, and also I am adding some topics like web resources and academic search engines to it. Okay, now let us begin our topic, and for that I am going to present my screen. Okay, this topic significance of science library.
Gayatri, can you make it in another way? I think, can you make it in screen full like okay.
Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay, this is the topic significance of science library. Okay, we know that reading is the most marvelous adventures that anyone can have in our life. Books play a vital role in our life because they provide various kinds of information such as literature, viewpoints, inventions, incidents, experiences, knowledge, and anything such data. So, therefore, books are very important. In such context, libraries are the agencies for the acquisition, preservation, effective use, and dissemination of recorded knowledge and information contained in other books and documents. Therefore, libraries having a very significant role in our society for the acquisition, preservation, effective use, and dissemination of recorded knowledge. Father of library science in India is Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, and according to Dr. S.R. Ranganathan, library is a public institution. It is very significant because he is considering it not as a mere infrastructure facility to store books or documents. He is considering it as a public institution. Therefore, library is having very much significance in our society. Libraries provide physical or digital access to materials and maybe a physical building or a room. It's a simple definition of library. It's provide access to digital materials or physical materials such as printed books, etc. And it may be a physical building or a room. So it's a brief introduction about library. Now, library and education. What is the significance of science library, especially science library in education? It is believed that the place where formal education extends, informal education begins, and lifelong education process continues is the library. Because we know that in a school, formal education occurs. And when a student is going to a library and collecting information from the library, his informal education is beginning and it is fueling to his lifelong education process also. Therefore, it has functions in formal and informal education and also provide many benefits in case of non-formal education also. The library is pupils' university because in a library, the pupils decide what to read and what not to. It is they are the decision makers. The students are the decision makers in a library what to do or what not to read. Therefore, it's pupils' university and library is a center of mass education because anyone from any socio-economic background can access the information. Uh, it uh, it provides very much benefits in case of mass education because anyone can access the information from a library. The library is a center of continuing education. That is, a man or a person have in any age group can collect information from a library. Therefore, it fuels into lifelong education process also. It is a major interconnections between library and education. Now, collection. What is inside a science library? Now I am stressing on science library and what is inside a science library. First one is popular magazines and standard books. such as Nature. It's a popular magazine in case of science. Then Springer. It's also another popular magazine. Such magazines can be considered as popular magazine in case of science. Then prescribed and related textbooks, such as when we are doing our BSc or MSc, we have seen a number of such textbooks which will help in our academic process. Then reference books, workbooks, motivational and inspiring books such as life stories and autobiographies of scientists, prominent persons, etc. Then books containing background information, supplementary materials, etc. Science fiction novel stories, as we have read in the first sem for reading and reflection. Such books can also be found in a science library. Then digital data, including CDs, films, documents, etc. Now there is digital data also in a library. We can access them very easily. So these are the collections in a science library. Now, organization of a science library. It's very important to organize a science library. Organization is relied on demonstrations and experiments, but the basics are always obtained from various books. Therefore, students often visit a library for their academic process. Therefore, we have to organize the library in accordance with the needs and requirements of the students. While performing this function, a science teacher should keep certain points in mind. Now, I am going to cite such points. First one is the books must be classified based on some criteria and must be arranged properly. We know that generally schools have small buildings, as a result of which only small sized library can be constructed in it. So it is difficult to make provision of separate science library in the school. In most cases, the science library will be included within the common library of the school itself. So the space provided for a science library will be very much limited. In such kind of situation, provision should be made by the teacher or librarian by which books of different subjects are being placed at different places. That is, the books must be classified well based on some criteria and must be arranged properly. It must be organized in a student friendly manner because books written on the same topic should be arranged uh, in a given shelf, others in a different separately manner. It will help to considerable extent in saving the time and efforts of students, and it will not be a tiring process for students to find a book from the shelves. So the organization is very important. For the proper organization of a librarian is needed. For arranging the books properly, a librarian is must because it will help in promoting the usage among students. In many cases, the science library is majorly organized by a science teacher itself because a science teacher is knowing what is the importance of a book or what is the classification of a book. So it's advised to organize a science library by the science teacher itself. Then the library must be updated and must contain at least one book related to every field of science. The library must be updated, and teachers should take the responsibility to make sure that proper provision of new books is made in the school library. If students only get old books, then they will not be able to be updated and no longer will be curious about the topic. Thus, for identifying the developments and new frontiers in science, the library must be up to date. We have to, as a science teacher, we have to take care of that also. Then contain various disciplines, and for proper functioning, a set of rules and regulations are needed. We know that there is a various disciplines in a library. There are various disciplines or subjects. Also, science is also there, and in a science library or in any library, for proper functioning, we have to impact some set of rules in the library. Then that the rules must be compulsory to all students because the period of issue, number of books to be allotted, fine in case of failure in submitting the book back must be included in the rules. It is also important for the preservation of books. The rules should be properly displayed. For that, we can use a bulletin board in the science library. Then it is better to automate the functioning of a science library. By using computers or gadgets, we can automate the library. It will help in tracking and searching the books very much easily. Therefore, it is advised to automate the library. These are the major important points in the organization of a science library. A science teacher have to take care about all these things while organizing a science library. Now, basic requirements. What are the basic requirements of a science library? We are very much familiar about libraries. The basic requirements are: first one is a well ventilated room. The second one is provision for sit, read, and write. There must be a reading corner in every library. Therefore, it's very much essential. The next is functioning duration. The functioning duration of the library must be greater than or larger than the functioning duration of the school. In such cases, only the students can go to visit the library and collect information after the working hours of the school. Therefore, the functioning duration is also important. Sometimes some science library, such as National Science Library, function 24 into 7 duration. It's very effective for developing scientific attitude in students. The next one is a bulletin board highlighting daily news items and other things connected with science. A student or a librarian itself can take charge of that bulletin board, and it will be a reflection of the functioning of the library itself. Therefore, a bulletin board is also important. Although all these four factors are very essential, the most important and obvious thing is collection of books, a good collection of books. Sometimes these basic requirements are not affordable in a school due to lack of infrastructure facilities or lack of funds, then lack of space, etc. Then, in such cases, we can set up a science library in a classroom itself. In the corner of the classroom, we can set up a science library by collecting books. It is called a class library. It will be very much handy for the students, and they can read or collect books from these class libraries on the leisure times and after the working hours of the class. It is called a class library. It is also helping the functioning. The next one is significance of science library. What is the significance of science library? The first one and the major one is science library is the mirror of an institution. The quality of an institution can be understood by the proper functioning science library. To what extent the institution promotes library activities, then up to that level, productivity of the institution will also rise. Therefore, the science library reflects the institution's quality itself. Then the second point is it is simply the primary requisite of every school. We know science topics are compulsory in our education system, and thus a science library is necessary in each and every school for its proper functioning. Therefore, the science library is a primary requisite itself. Then the next point is it develops skills and attitudes among the pupils. Okay, we have heard the story of Shashi Tharoor, the MP of Thiruvananthapuram, and he is such a great intellectual. He once said that at his childhood he was a hyperactive child, and he was literally a nuisance to everyone. So he decided to deviate his concentration into reading. Thus, all these changes have made from that decision, and now he is such a genius person. There is the importance of library or reading in developing the skills and aptitudes among the pupils. A well-functioning science library will assist students in developing spirit of inquiry, scientific attitude, search for cause and effect. It will also help in creating reading, writing, linguistic skills, etc. Knowing deep about science and scientists will create motivation and feeling of focusing in students. It all are the included in this point. The next one is a well set up library is the place where students sit and do the independent work. We know in a classroom, all students do their work under the guidance of a teacher. And what happens in a classroom is under the instruction of a teacher, and it's not uh, autonomous, or it is not their self working. But in a library, students functions according to their interest and attitudes in a self-paced manner. That is another importance or significance of science library. For a properly functioning institution. That is the major point in this topic. Next one is role of science library. There are a vast number of roles for a science library in our educational system, but I have listed a few among them. First one is provide basement for studies and understanding and develop scientific attitude among students. We have seen that earlier also. It help in cultivating scientific attitude and help in also developing scientific temper in students. Then it enhances access to resources because uh, it outside the school and community, it provide very a number of resources to students and also provide expertise in using and managing information and also technological devices. The next one is help in adopting progressive methods of teaching science. Library creates a better understanding of subject matter than also misconceptions, clarifications, overlapping with other subjects, identifying correlation. These all are the functions of library in case of science education. Thus, it also help a teacher in creating proper teaching strategies for effective teaching process. It is also another role of science library. The next one is facilitate self-study and self-education. Only by reading books from library, an average student can master a number of subject areas. As it is self-initiated, it does not create extra burden in students. It is another important point. It is based on the interest of a student. Therefore, it will not create a burden in the student itself. Then, help the students in knowing more about his surroundings and also the scientific world. It will help a student in comprehending the natural world. That is a simple point. Then it enhances and fuel the teacher's knowledge on scientific topics. By increasing the teacher's knowledge, it will help in creating a well-nurtured and molded student group. This will in turn benefit for our society and the system. The next one is impacting academic achievement for individual. It assists them in lifelong learning also. It includes preparing individual for productive employment, then promoting functional literacy and enjoyment of reading. These are the other points. The next one is provide lifelong learning. We have also discussed about that. Then provide expertise in using information. Then it provides us information or idea on how to use and manipulate information for educational and life related instances. Then also provide a large number of learning opportunities with the efficient use of libraries. It may include choosing proper career paths, focusing concentration and interest into desirable areas. It helps us to identify where is our interest lies and where is our caliber. So it also provides learning opportunities for the students. Then help in converging students' concentration and interest into desirable areas. Okay, the next one is help in ensuring equity in education, helping economically and socially backward students to come in front. Because most of the libraries are free of charge. There will be a very less amount of registration fee only in case of a library. In case of a school library, there is nothing, no fees at all. Any student from any economic or social background can visit the library and collect whatever he wants from it. Therefore, it addresses the needs of students at risk. It also provides access to information and ideas unimpeded by social, cultural, and economic constraints. Then ensuring free and equal access to educational information without geographic constraints. It also helps students stay free of drugs and violence in an environment conducive to learning. Because it helps to deviate their focus into reading or science. Therefore, it will help to avoid such socially unwanted activities. Therefore, it's all the role of science library in education. Now, we are moving to the topic web resources for accessing information. Okay, we know it is a digital era. Our reading process also become revolutionized in this age of technological advancements. Going into a library and finding a book from the large, crowded, dusty shelves is not only the way of accessing information today. Now, we only need a network connectivity to access information from the internet and the corridors which lead us into these resources. are called academic search engines, and these resources which provide us such informations are called web resources. So we are going to discuss about web resources which provide information online and also the academic search engines which lead us into these web resources. Okay, moving on to that. First one is web resources for accessing information. When we are doing a project or a research, we will need a large amount of information. We will need a large amount of information regarding the particular field of study. We are aware about that while we are doing our MSc and BSc projects. Usually, we will obtain information from our mentor, experts, or publications. Generally, we have relied on publications in earlier cases, but it will not be available in every time. As an example, uh, we can take the instance of this time of COVID pandemic. It is not advisable to visit a library regularly because there's having some risk factors. Then we need search engines to collect data online. We are very much familiar with search engines like Google, Yahoo, MSN. They will provide a vast variety of information regarding any field. It's not related to in education. Any field related to any field, we can access information, but it will not be easy to search academic information from such regular search engines because they will provide vast irrelevant materials for us, and it may not be that provided information may not be peer reviewed and scientific. Therefore, it will be a really tiring process to sort out the required information and also identify whether it is correct or not. So, at that time, academic search engines will assist you in this process. Academic search engines provide the desired recommendations for us in a reader friendly manner. It is specifically designed for academic purposes only. So, it will be very much advantageous than regular search engines in case of accessing such informations. There are a handful of free, publicly available academic search engines. There is also subscription based academic search engines. Now we are going to discuss about only free and publicly available academic search engines. Some of them focus on a single discipline, while others have citations from multiple fields. From some academic search engines, we can only get the information regarding one field of study, such as life science or physical science, chemistry, something like that. But other some others will provide information from multiple fields, just including a large number of fields. Then, universities and colleges often subscribe to academic search engines because the students can easily access the information from those academic search engines. Therefore, universities and colleges also subscribe to academic search engines. Then, for accessing information from a library, we have to contact the library to find out to which academic search engines they subscribe to and whether or not you will be allowed into the library to access them. First of all, we have to access the information from a particular library. Then, such cases, we have to first of all contact the library and ask them that we have to reveal our purpose and also have to ask them to which academic search engine they have subscribed, and if we get the permission from them, we can obtain such information from the academic search engine. American Library Association, Special Library Association, Gale Virtual Reference Library, Encyclopedia of Library and Information Sciences, Washington Library Association are examples of web resources globally available. These are the major web resources which are globally available. There are a large number of web resources in addition to it. Okay. Now, tips to use academic search engines. It is not similar as the regular search engine. Academic search engine works slightly differently from the regular search engines. So we have to be aware about the working of them. For that, go through the help pages to figure out the best ways to use them. Help pages are available from the internet, and we can by going through those help pages, we can identify how they work and what is the easiest way to obtain data from academic search engines. Then use proper keywords for effective and easy searching. It is very important. The keywords, we can use keywords alone or in combination for effective searching. Then gradually you can narrow your focus and can identify the best keywords. Practice makes us perfect. By practicing it, we can gradually correctly understand how we can search for a particular idea. The next one is while reading the literature, try with additional searches using jargon and terms for better understanding. We know that while we go through a research paper, we will encounter with many jargons and technical terms. Then academic search engines also provide the provision to search about them also. By doing so, we will have a better understanding about the topic. We can search for jargons and technical terms in academic search engines. Then the results of search engines come in the form of abstract. After reading that, you can decide whether it is relevant or not. When we are searching with a keyword, we will get a large number of results, and each result will be containing an abstract of that paper. By going through that abstract, we can identify whether it is relevant for our study or not. If it is relevant, we can proceed to it, or else we can go through another abstract. Okay, it's other tips to use academic search engines. By focusing on these tips, we can effectively use academic search engines for accessing information from web resources. The next one is examples of academic search engines. There are a large number of academic search engines globally available. Now, I am going to discuss you about some important academic search engines. First one is Google Scholar. Google is very much familiar to us. It is the most largely used regular search engine. Now it's Google Scholar. It's a web search engine that specifically searches scholarly literature and academic resources. It specifically provides access to scholarly literature and academic resources. The scholarly authoritative focus of Google Scholar distinguishes it from ordinary Google. Its importance. Then, information regarding almost all areas of study are available from Google Scholar, including life science, physical science, social science, health science, etc., are available from Google Scholar. Its URL is scholar.google.com. Many citations in Google Scholar will link us into the full text in the library's database. It is a major advantages. It will provide the full text itself. Not only the abstract, it will provide the full text, but it will not contain everything that is in the library database. Academic search engines will provide us the information we are searching for, but most of the cases it will not contain everything that is in the library's database. That is the disadvantage of academic search engine. Then next one is Scirus. It is comprehensive science-specific search engine launched in 2001. Only science topics are accessible from Scirus, but in February 2014, its homepage indicated that the service was no longer running and it is retired from service in 2014. It includes disciplines like physical science, life science, social science, health science, etc. Only science disciplines. We have mentioned it earlier also. Then there are about 167 million pages in its data, and it is still available to us, but it is not now it's not functioning and it's not uploading new materials into it. Its URL is www.scirus.com. It is about Scirus. Okay, the next is PubMed. PubMed means it comprises more than 32 million citations for biomedical literature. It is specifically designed for biomedical literature, and we can only access the information about this field of study from PubMed. It usually provides us the full version of a paper if it is available. Okay, it is also provide as like Google Scholar. It will also provide us the full version of a paper. Its URL is www.ncbi.nlm.nih.gov/pubmed. Okay, by entering this URL, we can go into the site and we can search whatever we want. Then IEEE Explore, National Agricultural Library Agricola, Educational Resource Information Center ERIC are other examples of academic search engines. From these academic search engines also we can obtain information. This IEEE Explore is having disciplines like electronics, electrical engineering, computer science, etc. While Agricola is providing information regarding agriculture only, and Education Resource Information Center is providing information related to educational field. These are other academic search engines, prominent academic search engine. There are a large number of academic search engines also. These all are, we have discussed only free academic search engines which are publicly available. There are also subscription based academic search engines. Okay, when we are proceeding into the research or project, it will be very much handy for us. So this is about my topic. Firstly, I discussed about significance of science library, then web resources, and now academic search engines. Hope all of you have understood this topic, and thank you.
Very good, Gayatri. You've gone through all the things. Any doubts, anybody? I think everything is clear for. So they are not just appreciating you, Gayatri. So first of all, I'm appreciating that you've gone through everything like physical library and web library. I mean digital library also. But I have a doubt regarding one of your statement, like library automation. What do you really mean by that? Library automation. What's idea you had on that?
Ma'am, we can upload the informations regarding all the textbooks or all the books, including magazines, journals, into the computer, and uh, a student can enter after entering into the library. They can search for the book or the journal in that computer itself. Therefore, it will not be necessary to keep such heavy registers for the purpose, and students may not be have the issue for searching it on the shelf. They can directly go into the shelf and take the book. So it's I mean so.
Okay, so that's the same as what you mean by digital library, right? To some extent.
Uh, uh, Partially, ma'am, because in digital library, everything in the informations available in the library is updated into the web. But automation means only the details of the books and the places where it is occupied are uploaded into the computer.
Okay, so that's the concept difference that we have in our that is when in our college also when we are saying about digital library we are really referring to library automation. I think it's not digital library. Am I right?
Yes, ma'am.
So virtual library or all the other types that we have some other sites or we can go through other virtual libraries. That's another thing that's really mean by digital library. It's not the library automation. There is some difference, right?
Correct, ma'am.
Okay. So I think it's a good project for that's when you're discussing about it. I feel it's such a good project that now what they are really involving is in which book in which shelf and the number of the book. That's the only data we are getting through library automation. So I was thinking when she was explaining about that, that is if I want a book like I want a book of Skinner on educational psychology, and I am checking for that book in the library. I entered the name of the book. Then now the library give you in which shelf it is there, and what is the number of the book, library number. This maybe account number, library number, something like a reference number, something like that, ID number, something. I'm not remembering that number. Can anyone say what was that number? That not what was that number that is written the top BES or something like that PSY two? Can anyone know what is that number indicates? Indicate that means what is the number called? No. So we will go and I think there's some ID number or something like that it was called. So we will that we are usually seeing when we are studying about research methodology. There is one part review of related literature, and in review of related literature, we are really studying how we have to review the literature. There they are giving this book number, account number, ID number, all the numbers. They really live as part of library science. The numbers they are really showing in every book. What each number indicates, how they are putting this number. all this there is you are explaining in this review of different stages of review of related literature. So that's a good project. That I was thinking that if that place where it is, when we are going to that place, that particular number, the book may or may not be there. So if the book is there, and or another one is whether the book is in or out, that is also we can know by library automation. Whether it is already circulated or not, that also we can know. So I was thinking that if the book is there and a light comes there, that just I want this book, a book by Skinner on educational psychology. So what happened, wherever that book really exists in the shelf, if a light or something happens or a beep sound comes from that part, it becomes very easy for us to go there and take it. So another stage of library automation. In a very huge library, we are there in particular what I have to say, in a particular point by entering the name, just we can know whether it is in or out or which shelf. That's a personal information. So if the light, a particular light comes, or it may create some confusion because it's not clear. Just as I was thinking when Gayatri was putting that, how can we make it more modernizing this library automation? That it was not clear for me too, but I was really thinking some new projects like that will can make library reviewing in library more easy and interesting. Then another one, the thing is every science teacher must have a library. Every science teacher must have a library. You must have a library in your home. Along with it, you must have a library in your class. Whenever you are appointing as a class teacher for a class, the first thing was you must keep a library for your students, at least 40 students. What really happens in a class usually is that teacher will take 40 books. You also have the same experience, I think. Teacher will take 40 books from 40 available books, that I have to say. It's not very needed book. Available book from library and circulate it. First of all, teacher will number all the books and give all the books to the students. First, roll number 1, and see, come and take this book. Roll number 2, Ashna, come and take this book. 3, like that. All the students, 40 students or 50 students, whatever. They are in the class, the teachers are giving the number. After 1 week, next Monday, the person with the first book, that is the first roll number has to give that book to the second roll number, and second roll number has to give to the first roll number. Do you have such experiences in your school time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What the teacher, everyone, what the teacher wants you to do is you have to prepare one report or 2-3 pages of summary of your reading. That's how the reading skill was really increasing there. What usually happens? Can anyone what I have to say? Excuse yourself. What was really, or we can say, or disclose yourself. What was really happening at that time? ആർക്കെങ്കിലും തുറന്നു പറയാൻ പറ്റുമോ എന്തായിരുന്നു ആ സമയത്ത് അവിടെ നടന്നിരുന്നതെന്ന്? ടീച്ചർ തിങ്കളാഴ്ച രാവിലെ ഒരു ബുക്ക് തരുന്നു, വെള്ളിയാഴ്ച പിന്നെ നെക്സ്റ്റ് മൺഡേ യു ഹാഡ് ടു ഗിവ് ദ ബുക്ക് ടു ദ നെക്സ്റ്റ് യുവർ ഫ്രണ്ട്, and by Friday you had to submit a reading summary to your class teacher. Then what happens for the next week? What group? I don't understand it, Grishma. What group?
ആസ്വാദന കുറിപ്പ്.
Aswadana group. No, it's a summary of what? അങ്ങനെ എഴുതിപ്പിക്കുമായിരുന്നോ?
യെസ് മാം.
എഴുതിപ്പിക്കുമായിരുന്നു ആദ്യത്തെ പിന്നെ എന്താണ് നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്തിരുന്നത്? ആർക്കെങ്കിലും തുറന്നു പറയാൻ ചോദിച്ചു. Can you disclose yourself what was happening after 1 or 2 weeks?
First, student will write the review properly, but
Yeah.
from the second week onwards, everyone will copy from that.
Same. Oh wow! I think you completed your class after 10 to 12 years after me, but you done the same thing what we have done. So no change. When you also go to the school, the same thing will happen. Because you know why? Because teachers are not ready to take their students to the library and ask them, I'm going to give you one period, you take a book for yourself from any place. If you want to take a book on cuisine, you can take it from cuisine. If you want to take a book for your designing of, dress designing, you can take a book for that. The student, that way the teacher had to give the freedom to the student to find their own idea, their own aptitude, their own place, their own field of interest, all that. But never teacher do that. Teachers are always like that. That's why always the teachers are considering like this only in India, because the attitude of teacher is like that, because they want to make everything very easy. So the same thing what you disclosed was correctly, you told it. So when you become the teacher, don't do that to your student. Take your student to the library. If you cannot manage 50 students together, don't take it like that. Take 10, 10, 10, and give them chance to select a book for themselves and prepare a small note, not 2, 3 pages. 1 page enough. And you make them present in the class. You make them present in the class like what we are doing now in our class. So then what the students also understands, and you can also understand how much caliber, or we can say how much competence this student is having in your class. What is the taste of your student? So that will help you a lot in your future. So that is a library. So I was really thinking about your class, Gayatri. That's why I gone through all this. So Gopika, are you there? Are you ready? Is 10
Yes,
minutes
teacher.
enough for you?
Okay, teacher.
We can 1 minute and see. I can't read that.
No, miss, I just said that I had a when I was in school, I had a separate library period, and our librarian used to tell us to keep a note so that we can write
He gives
write
you
about the
feedback
thing.
also.
Yes, and he used to check our notes
No.
after a certain.
Do you have any chance to present what you have read?
No, that we didn't get the chance to present, but he used to check our notes, library notes and all. Our librarian.
You mean about Navajivan or Nirmala?
Yeah. Navajivan, Navajivan.
Navajivan is an unaided school. You cannot say about Nirmala like that. Nirmala is also unaided, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay. So yes, that school, when Nancy tells it, is in the beginning stage of the school. So the teachers is having, again, such schools are making teachers doing something like that. It's really good. That's why the student, what is the output of all these things is the students become interested in quizzes, puzzles, and even orator. Do you familiar with one person, one Panikkar, Ranjit Panikkar, or someone who was what one Panikkar? I'm not anyone say about who was there. നമ്മുടെ ഏഷ്യാനെറ്റിന്റെ ഒക്കെ ചാനലിൽ സ്ഥിരമായിട്ട് വരുന്ന ഒരു പയ്യനുണ്ട്, ഒരു പണിക്കർ. ഈസ് എ ടെക്നോപാർക്ക് ഗൈ. ആർക്കെങ്കിലും അറിയോ? നിങ്ങൾ ആരും ന്യൂസ് കാണത്തില്ല? വിനു, വേണു തുടങ്ങിയ ആൾക്കാരുടെ great, all very great. So there is one, Ranjit Panikkar. Oh, sorry, I'm missing his name. He's called one Panikkar. So what he tells is that എല്ലാ കാര്യത്തെ പറ്റിയും ഈ വ്യക്തിക്ക് വളരെ കൃത്യമായിട്ടുള്ള കാഴ്ചപ്പാടുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ ഇതെങ്ങനെയാണ് ഈ വ്യക്തിക്ക്, ഹീസ് ആൻ ഐ ടി ഗൈ, ഹൗ എ ഐ ടി ഗൈ, വി നോ ദാറ്റ് വി നെവർ എക്സ്പെക്ട് സച്ച് തിങ്സ് ഫ്രം ഐ ടി ഗൈ. അപ്പൊ എങ്ങനെയാണ് വന്നത് എന്ന് ചോദിച്ചപ്പോ ആ വ്യക്തി പറഞ്ഞത്, കൊച്ചിലെ മുതലേ ഞാൻ ലൈബ്രറിയിലാണ് എന്റെ സമയം ചെലവഴിച്ചിരുന്നത്. ഫസ്റ്റ് ഓഫ് ഓൾ ഐ സ്റ്റാർട്ടഡ് മൈ ലൈഫ് ഫ്രം ലൈബ്രറി വിത്ത് മൈ ബ്രദർ. എൽഡർ ബ്രദറിനോടൊപ്പം ലൈബ്രറിയിലാണ് ഞാൻ ചെലവഴിച്ചിരുന്നത്. ആഫ്റ്റർ ദാറ്റ് വാട്ട് ഹാപ്പൻസ് ഇൻ മൈ ലൈഫ് ഈസ് I gone along with my brother to oration. പല പല oratory പ്രോഗ്രാംസിന് ബ്രദറിനോടൊപ്പം പോകാൻ തുടങ്ങി. അങ്ങനെ കൊച്ചിലെ മുതൽ ഫ്രം 4, 5, 6 ഈ ക്ലാസ്സുകളിൽ മുതൽ ഇങ്ങനെ പോകാൻ തുടങ്ങിയപ്പോൾ when he is already employed, he is having how to develop views, how to get a scientific view of things. ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം ക്ലിയർ ആയിട്ട് നമുക്ക് കാര്യങ്ങൾക്ക് ക്ലാരിറ്റി കിട്ടുകയാണ്. ഭാവിയിൽ കുറച്ചുകൂടെ കാര്യങ്ങളിൽ ക്ലാരിറ്റി കിട്ടുകയാണ്. ഇതാണ് നമുക്കൊരു ടീച്ചർ എന്നുള്ള രീതിയിൽ ചെയ്തു കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്. Really good. So I'm inviting Gobika. The thing Gobika is going through is another very interesting topic of science fair. Yes. Srijit Panikar, you are absolutely right, George. Srijit Panikar, yes. So, Gopika, are you ready with science fair?
Yes, teacher. Yes, teacher.
Okay, you can please.
Good morning, all. Hello? Hello?
Yes, now, okay,
Okay, teacher. Good morning, all. I am Gobika, and today I am going to present my seminar topic on the importance of science fair. So, let's go to the presentation. First of all, we are going to see what is a science fair, its definition. It is generally a competitive event where the students present their science project results in the form of a report, display board, and models that they have created. So, it's a competition where the students present their own projects in the form of a report, display board, and models in front of experts. So, here the students get an opportunity to apply scientific method to conduct their research. So the application of scientific method is here, so it is very important. So preparation for a science fair. What are the things that the students should be done before going to a science fair? We have learned the steps in the scientific method. So first of all, the student should select a topic which leads to a problem and which the student wish to do the research, and then a complete study of the topic is done by the collection of data. For that, not only from traditional library books, the students can refer journals, interview with professionals who are working in the same field of study. So all these things will help the students to get the information about the recent studies that are happening, and it will help to conduct the experiment in a systematic way. So after the collection of data, the formulation of hypothesis occurs, and then the students do the experiment, and after that the analysis and conclusion of the results occurs, and finally the students write the report. Then this report is presented in front of experts by the students, and the students can use a display board for the presentation along with the report. What is display board? It is it gives a summary of the project in a clear, concise, and visually pleasing manner. Generally, the audience don't have much time to read all these things that are written in this report. So by looking into the display board, the audience get a kind of clear idea about the project, its purpose, its relevance, its results, all these things. So we can make the display board so attractive by using images, diagrams, charts, etc. So after the presentation by the students, there is an interview session between the students and the judges. The judges ask questions about the topic and looks the report, and then give suggestions for the further improvement, and also provide encouragement for their effort. So based on the relevance of the study and the performance of the students, prizes were awarded. The students who wins in the primary level get a chance to the next level, that is state, national, and international science fairs. So these are the procedures that are happening in a science fair. Next, what are the things that are displayed in a science fair? Objects and specimens collected by students, graphic materials like charts, graphs, pictures, diagrams, working models, charts depicting scientific principles, apparatus or scientific instruments prepared by students, scientific toys, either electrical or mechanical, improvised apparatus, projects, science textbooks, reference books or general books, news bulletin, journals. All these things can be exhibited in a science fair. Next, how to organize a science fair. To organize any program, we have well planning. So first of all, planning is the first step. In this, what are the procedures, financing, location, time, duration, all these things should be planned well. Next thing is distribution of work. There are a lot of work in a science fair, so it become easy when we distribute the work into different groups of people, and we can create so many committees like advisory committee, reception committee, publicity committee, etc. Next comes the execution of this program. So we are aware about what are the things happening in this program, and is all these things are happening in a proper manner. All exhibits must be properly arranged, and there should be volunteers for to explain the things before the audience. All these things should be arranged in a well manner. Next comes the judging. For the judgment, we should create a criteria for the judgment. It includes scientific approach, originality, technical skill, personal interview, all these things. So based on these criteria, the judgment is done. And the last thing is evaluation. So based on the performance of the students, they are evaluated, and they are given awards for the prizes for their effort. Next comes why we are conducting this science fair. What is its significance? It stimulates interest in science and technology among students, and encourages scientific talent among students. And we are doing this research on the basis of scientific method. So it will help to develop scientific attitude, critical thinking, power of reasoning, all these things among students. And also the creativity is developed because they are doing their projects in their own way. So the creativity is improved in a science fair. Next, it helps to develop the spirit of cooperativeness. A lot of students are participating in this competition, so there is the cooperation should be there between the students. So these values are also learned from a science fair. Next, it facilitates the students to update their knowledge in science. So the knowledge updation in science is also happens in a science fair. Then it helps to understand the practical application and utility of science. So what we have learned is useful when it can be applied in a new situation. So the practical application of science is happening in a science fair. Next, the students get an opportunity to see the performance of other students and their works. The students, by seeing the other students work, they can also learn from that and improve themselves. So here it gives an opportunity for that. Next, it makes science learning joyful. If we learn science if using a working model, it will become very much interesting to learn science. So through science fairs, the learning science will become an interesting one. Next, it provides healthy platform for competition, and it helps to bring schools into the society. As here in a science fair, the students will think about what are the things, should be aware about the problems happening in a society, and they think what we can do to solve the problem. So the consideration for the society is there, and the society also get an opportunity to see the performance of the students. So there is an interaction between the school and society. Next, it helps to bring out the future scientists. So here the students are doing their project, so it may help them to become a future scientist. If it happens, it will be a great contribution by a science fair. So these are the things that is the answer to the question why we are conducting a science fair, its significance. Next, to conclude, science fair is of immense use because it helps to popularize science among masses, creating an awareness regarding the role of science and technology in socio-economic and sustainable growth of the country. So what happens in a science fair? The students apply their scientific knowledge to solve a problem in the society, and also they can use their knowledge for the sustainable development of the country. Also, the society get an opportunity to see, to get an awareness about all these things. Okay, we can use this for our society, and it is very important to study science and technology. So these all these things can be achieved only through a science fair. So there comes the importance of conducting a science fair, and I think it is clear to you. And thank you all.
Very good, Gopika. She explained well about the science fair. I think you understood what is the difference between science fair and exhibition. You have to note it. The first science fair was happened in 1942 by Edward Scripps, a national talent search. That was at that time. It's of laws of motion was what it was shown there in US. So that was the first science talent search, and it was called the science fair. അതിനെ സയൻസ് ഫെയർ എന്നാണ് ആ പ്രോഗ്രാം വിളിക്കപ്പെട്ടത്. നാഷണൽ സയൻസ് ഫെയർ എന്നായിരുന്നു ആ പ്രോഗ്രാം. ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ജസ്റ്റ് എ ടാലന്റ് സെർച്ച് പ്രോഗ്രാം ആയിരുന്നു, പക്ഷെ ഇട്ട പേര് സയൻസ് ഫെയർ എന്നായിരുന്നു. സോ ദെൻ ഇറ്റ് ബിക്കം എ വെരി പോപ്പുലർ തിങ്, സയൻസ് ഫെയർ. Now it is there in every schools. Almost all the native schools are conducting that because it is one of the best method to find whether the students are interested in science or not. Especially it is becoming a responsibility of the science teacher to conduct like that. So every science teacher must know how to conduct a science fair. And one thing you have to take care, that is when you are conducting science fair, more than the science, technology is most important. What technology you are using? How much cost effective is the technology that you are using to explain or imply the science content or science concept? That is most important, and that is always awarding or scoring it. So technology what you are using, especially now they are gone for some green technology or something like that. So that is most important in science fair. Now, before I conclude, I want to explain just one more thing that what Gopika explained. That is really it is give a high exposure to our students when we are taking our student to science fair. You cannot provide such exposure to students with any other strategy. മറ്റൊരു സ്ട്രാറ്റജി വെച്ച് ഉപയോഗിച്ചും കുട്ടിക്ക് കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റാത്ത എക്സ്പോഷർ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സയൻസ് ഫെയർ ഉപയോഗിച്ച് കുട്ടിക്ക് കൊടുക്കാൻ പറ്റും. I am a participant of Indian International Science Festival conducted in New Delhi before 3 years. I saw about 40 projects by different students in India, and 40 science teachers from different parts of India took their students, and visitors were foreigners. And some of the foreigners that's coming there, they are taking their students. That is, are you interested to come with us? They are asking. Then we are opening a door to your student for a very well equipped or നമ്മൾ പറയില്ലേ ശോഭനമായ ഭാവി. അതിലേക്ക് ഒരു ടീച്ചർ എന്ന നിലയ്ക്ക് 5ലും 6ലും 7ലും പഠിക്കുന്ന കുഞ്ഞിന് ഒരു വാതായനം തുറന്നു കൊടുക്കുകയാണ്. So that's very clear and very good strategy you can give, or a very good gift you can give to your student as a science teacher. After our service as a science teacher for 30 to 35 years, if you are saying that I never conducted one science fair, that means you wasted your whole life as a science teacher. You wasted our whole life. കാരണം 35 വർഷം ഒരു സയൻസ് ടീച്ചറായിട്ട് ഇരുന്ന ശേഷം ഞാൻ ഒരു സയൻസ് ഫെയറും പോയിട്ടില്ല, ഞാൻ ഒരു സയൻസ് ഫെയറും കണ്ടക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ടില്ല എന്ന് ഒരു സയൻസ് ടീച്ചർ പറയുന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ദാറ്റ് പേഴ്സൺ ഈസ് എ കംപ്ലീറ്റ് വേസ്റ്റ് ആസ് എ സയൻസ് ടീച്ചർ. So you have to conduct wherever you are at least once in a year or twice in in 2 years. Once in 2 years you have to conduct. That is the policy of the institution where you are. It is having so much of struggles, but only then you can make a mark of yourself as a science teacher. You can do justice to your gifted students. So keep all this in mind. Have a nice day. The session, you have your next session. Tomorrow we have next class by Sister Gina and Elsa. Am I right? Elsa completed, I think. Sister Gina, Lakshmi is there, right? Who is the other person who is going to take this? Kavya. Who is that?
Kavya.
Kavya. Okay. So next day, Kavya and Sister Gina will take on Monday. Okay. Have a nice